If you're doing OMAD or thinking about doing OMAD, this is the video I wish someone had made for me. Because what OMAD does to your body hour by hour is not what most people think. There's the fat loss, yes. There's the better focus, yes. But the real story happens underneath. Hormones, digestion, inflammation, brain function. And that's what determines whether OMAD works incredibly well or makes you crash and burn. All right, let's break down exactly what happens to your body on OMAD. Phase 1 is the first 0 to 4 hours after eating. This is the part most people miss and overlook. They think the fasting is where the magic happens, but the way that you start the 24-hour cycle determines how the whole thing will go. For the first few hours after your OMAD meal, your body's in what's called the fed state. Digestion increases, insulin rises, nutrients are being broken down, your gut's working hard, and your body prioritizes storage and absorption. Now here's the difference between OMAD done right versus OMAD done wrong. If your OMAD meal is protein plus healthy fats like steak, eggs, ground beef, ghee, tallow, your blood sugar rises slowly, not sharply. Insulin stays much lower, digestion is smoother, and inflammation stays low as well. But if your OMAD meal includes dairy bombs, processed fats and seed oils, sugar, large amounts of carbs, eating too late, then you're starting the 24 hours already behind. Your blood sugar spikes higher, your insulin stays elevated longer, and you wake up the next day feeling hungrier. Your cravings can start to be out of control. So the first lesson is this: your one meal sets the tone for the next 24 hours. Phase 2 begins around 4 to 12 hours after eating, and this is the stabilization window. This is where things get interesting. Once digestion settles, insulin slowly comes down. Your body's no longer absorbing food, it's starting to shift gears. If you're younger or metabolically flexible, this shift is pretty fast. If you're in your 40s like me, your body tends to hold on to glucose a little longer, you burn through it slower, stress hormones remain higher, and your recovery is slower. Your blood sugar fluctuates more too. So during this 4 to 12 hour period, something important happens. Your body is trying to stabilize, not burn fat yet. This is why what you eat really matters. It sets the whole window up for success or failure. If your meal was simple, high protein, and low inflammation, this stabilization phase is pretty smooth. Your energy rises, your gut feels calm, cravings drop, you stop thinking about food, and your brain gets clearer. This is why so many people say, I feel better fasting than after eating. It's because the fasting state is finally calmer than the fed state. Phase 3 is about 12 to 18 hours in after eating, and this is where the fat burning switch turns on. Somewhere in this window, your body begins to run out of stored glucose and transitions into fat burning. In physiological terms, this is the beginning of lipolysis, or where stored fat is now being released into the bloodstream. Your liver begins making ketones, your brain starts using fat for fuel, and this is where the hunger waves get easier. This is where cravings also start to go away. And sometimes the switch often takes longer to happen depending on how metabolically flexible you are. Sometimes 14 to 16 hours instead of 10 to 12. But this is why OMAD's perfect. A 23-hour fast all but guarantees that you reach this fat burning state daily. This is also why 16-8 often stops working, as it's just not long enough to get into this phase consistently. Phase 4 is about 18 to 22 hours in, and this is where autophagy and healing starts to occur. This is where the real magic happens. By this point, your insulin is low, your blood sugar is stable, and easier fat burning is happening. Now your body can finally turn on autophagy, which is your built-in cellular repair system. What's being repaired? Damaged proteins, inflamed tissues, dysfunctional mitochondria, your gut lining, your immune system's getting back in balance, brain cell cleanup is occurring, and oxidative stress is starting to go down. This is why OMAD often improves your skin, digestion, joint pain, bloating, anxiety, and the mental fog. For the first time all day, your body finally has the freedom to clean house. Phase 5 occurs right before you break your fast, about 22 to 23 hours in, and this is where the hormone reset starts. Right before you break your fast, something huge happens. Your hormones start to recalibrate. Ghrelin resets and hunger becomes more predictable. Leptin improves and you feel satisfied longer. Cortisol stabilizes and there's less stress eating going on. Insulin sensitivity improves for better fat burning, and growth hormone increases for better recovery. And eventually, OMAD becomes easier around week 2 to 3. You're no longer fighting your biology is finally working for you. And the big question most people ask, but what about muscle on OMAD? And here's the part most people fear. Won't I lose muscle if I only eat once a day? Not if you prioritize your protein and your protein is right. Here's the target that I aim for, and these are just some general guidelines. 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight as a minimum, and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is ideal, or especially for harder training days. For me, that's about 140 to 190 grams of protein, depending on the day. And here's how you hit that in 1 hour without feeling overly stuffed and you'll also leave your meal feeling satiated and satisfied. Most of my meal consists of steak or ground beef. I'll have 4 to 6 eggs, bone broth, sometimes some collagen protein, and sometimes some raw cheese or some raw yogurt. And if it feels like it's too much at first and you can't get this much protein in one meal, use a 1-hour eating window instead of one plate. And if you're still wondering how to eat this much protein in one meal, here's the truth. You're not supposed to be able to do it on day one. Your stomach is used to eating multiple times per day, so your gastric capacity is smaller. OMAD's a skill that you build, sort of like strength training. It takes time for your stomach to stretch, for your hunger hormones to regulate, and for your gut to handle larger meals efficiently. So instead of forcing one huge meal immediately, start with a longer eating window. Maybe a 2 to 3 hour window, ease into it, let your stomach adapt, and over a couple weeks, you'll naturally be able to eat more in a shorter window without feeling stuffed or uncomfortable. I tell people, don't think one meal a day necessarily, think one eating window. You can break your meal into 2 plates, 30 to 45 minutes apart if you need to. And on heavy training days, 2MAD is not failure, it's actually pretty smart. The goal is not perfection here, the goal is consistency over time and giving your body what it needs. 2MAD is more than okay if you need to get some extra calories in or having a harder training day. And here's the benefits no one talks about. One of the biggest reasons OMAD works so well is that it naturally keeps your calories in the right range without tracking, weighing, or obsessing over numbers. You simply can't overeat the same way you could when you were eating 3 meals a day and snacks all day long. When your entire day's food is condensed into one meal or one eating window, you end up in a calorie deficit automatically, not because you're starving yourself, but because real food is so satiating. Steak, eggs, beef, and whole foods fill you up long before you can accidentally overeat. And when calories are lower and insulin is low from fasting, fat loss becomes effortless. You don't need MyFitnessPal, you don't need to micromanage macros. OMAD simplifies everything so your hormones, hunger signals, metabolism, and calorie intake all line up in your favor. This is why OMAD is so powerful for fat loss. It controls calories for you without feeling like you're on a diet. After a couple weeks, you'll notice things the scale can't measure. You stop thinking about food all day. Less meal planning, less trips to the grocery store, and of course that means more money in your wallet, which is always nice. You feel calmer, your mood evens out, you become more patient, you sleep better, you're more productive, and you feel more in control of your life. This is what OMAD does for people. Not just fat loss, but stability, focus, clarity, and momentum. That's what one meal a day can really do to your body, hour by hour, and it works extremely well, especially if you're like me and you're over 40. If you feel stuck, inflamed, bloated, or tired, OMAD might be the thing that finally gets your biology responding again. Eat simple, move often, hit your protein, stop eating late, and let your body reset. And if you want some accountability and support, join FL40. It's free, and I'm in there every day helping people stay consistent. Links in the description if you want to check it out. And if this video helped you, please hit that like and subscribe button for me. It's the best way you can pay me back. It really does help a small channel like mine grow. And let me know in the comments, are you doing OMAD and what benefits have you seen? I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.